Is the dollar yen setting up for a potentially explosive reversal this month? I'll have the key levels to watch for a trigger for this setup and also some targets to keep in mind. We're also going to take a look at the DXY and also the yen basket of currencies. So the dollar yen last week broke below a falling wedge. And if you guys are familiar with these videos and also the teachings on the course, what I often talk about is when you get downside breaks of descending levels like this, so in other words, you've got these two descending trend lines here. And when you get breaks to the downside of patterns like this, and the same goes for a rising wedge like this, where you get a break to the upside, oftentimes those become fake outs, okay, or failed breakouts. And in this case, it was potentially a failed breakdown, okay? So this is going to be something to watch here, guys, over the coming 24 to 48 hours, because if the dollar yen can hold above this area through here today, then we have a confirmed reversal here for the dollar yen. Now, you can see the same thing on a lot of yen pairs right now, because really this is more of a story about the Japanese yen than it is the US dollar. But the fact remains that this right here, okay, this sweep of these lows back here, and now the reclaim, or a potential reclaim of 154.2, that right there is the setup in my opinion. And this is what I teach in the VIP group as well. This is really my bread and butter setup. I love setups like this because they are very high probability when they do come around. And by the way, if you do want access to that VIP course and also community in Discord, be sure to check out the link in the description of this video for 85% off lifetime access. Or if you're on the website, click on that join VIP link. So right now, this does look pretty good here for the dollar yen for a push to the upside if the market can close above 154.2. That's what's going to be key. I want to see the dollar yen take out these lows back here and close above this area. If it were to close down here, then it means this level is still intact as resistance. So I do want to see the market closing well above 154.20 today. All right, so looking here at some potential targets, and then we'll talk about the DXY and also the yen basket of currencies. Potential targets, you've got this pivot up here right around 157, okay, or just below that mark, right around 156.7 or so. You can see we've got lows back here and also these highs. So this right here is going to be, a first potential target. Of course, you've also got an area through here as well, but really this is the one I would watch if we do get the confirmed break above 154.20. So you've got this area around 156.7. And then, of course, you've got the highs up here right around 158.5. Now, one thing that I do want to talk about, because a lot of times when you get a fake out like this, and you can see the aggressiveness of this rally so far today, a lot of times when you do get this right here, you get the market rallying, pretty aggressively back toward the highs of the pattern and then some. So in that case, what I'm looking at here on the dollar yen, what you'll notice is this level up here around 160.3. This is something we talked about last year. And you can see where this level served as resistance. And this goes back years, in fact, decades. And you can see where this was resistance here. We got the close above, support through this area. This was support again. We had the close below. And the thing to note here is that the dollar yen pulled back aggressively. However, we never got a retest of this level up here. So this is going to be something to potentially watch over the coming weeks if this does set up. Okay, so if this sets up, you've got targets like this up here, that 158.50 area, and then potentially even this back here to kind of backfill this region around 160.3. So that, of course, could line up too with a diagonal off of some of these highs back here. So something like this could set up where you get the dollar yen coming into this confluence of resistance up here over the coming weeks. All right, now let's take a look at the DXY and also the yen basket of currencies, because right now what you're going to notice here is that the DXY is rallying some today on hotter than forecast USDJPY. However, you can see that it's not really all that significant. And that's why I say that today, with what's going on with the yen pairs, really it's a story of the Japanese yen, because you can see that across the euro yen, the pound yen, etc., all of them are putting in potential fake out patterns just like the dollar yen. But the reason I'm focusing on the dollar yen is because you have the DXY here. Okay, first of all, very range bound. We've talked about this for quite a while, but the market is also coming off of these lows down here. And we also have this upper wick that could get tested. Now, one level to keep an eye on, it is a little bit speculative just because the market has been so sideways, but this trend line here off of these daily closing prices, this is something to keep an eye on with today's close. So if the market can get above this area and close up here in this region this week, then we could get that push back toward 109.5. But again, really the dollar yen and all of these yen pairs right now, this is a story of the Japanese yen, not necessarily the DXY. And you can see that when we flip over here to the yen basket of currencies. So this is looking really, really good. And again, this is what I look for in the markets. This is really my favorite setup in the Forex market, or really any market out there, where you get the market breaking out, and instead of playing the breakout, you actually play the fake out. Okay, so the failed breakout. So you have a key level here off of these highs. And a lot of times I like to play this off of a horizontal level, but it does work with a trend line, especially one this significant. So you can see that clearly the market is testing this level here today. And if the yen index, we're going to call it the index for all intents and purposes, because that's essentially what it is. You can see that this area down here, this is the one that the market has to get back below. Okay, so right now it is trading just below that mark. However, like the dollar yen, I want to see the market closing below here to really confirm that this up here is a fake out and send the yen back here toward this trend line. Okay, so if we get that of course would help the dollar yen to the upside, and it could be relatively aggressive too, guys. I mean, keep in mind, this has been a very aggressive drop from the yen to the point where if the dollar yen can confirm this above 154.20, because I know a lot of people are going to be saying, would you play the pullback or not? And, look, we could get a pullback down here first, but a lot of times what happens when you get a move like this is the market will close, here, and then literally give you a few pips of a pullback and then just continue higher, continue straight up. So that could be the case here as well. So just keep that in mind, that when you get this kind of momentum, a lot of times you don't get the pullback that you're looking for. Okay, and the same thing here with the yen, right? If the yen closes below here, really there's not going to be much to pull back into, right? And again, we've still got 5 hours left in today's session, so this could change. But if the yen were to close, where it is right now or close to it, again, there's not a lot to pull back in terms of pulling back toward resistance before we get that drop. So just keep that in mind if you are going to trade the dollar yen or one of the yen pairs and you're looking for a pullback following this potential fake out. All right, so you never want to chase a market, but at the same time, you've also got to consider the momentum that you're looking at here, and just know that the odds of, if the market stays strong like this through the daily close into 5 p.m. Eastern, the odds of it closing here and then giving you a big pullback and then continuing higher is pretty unlikely in my experience. All right, but the bottom line, guys, is 154.20 is going to be the area to watch into today's close at 5 p.m. Eastern. If the dollar yen can close above this and then hold above that on a daily closing basis through the rest of the week, I do like the idea of a push into 156.70 and 158.50 and potentially up toward the 160 area. Just keep in mind, though, do watch the yen basket of currencies, because this is also going to be critical. You want to see this market closing back below that trend line to confirm that this up here is a fake out. Subscribe to the channel and click the bell for notifications. Don't forget to join us in VIP. Claim your 85% off lifetime access. See the link in the description of this video, or if you're on the website, click on that join VIP link. I will see you on the inside. Trade well out there, and I will talk to you again tomorrow.